Welcome to another edition of Cohasset Comment. I'm Cohasset Town Manager Chris Sr. Thanks for joining us. This week, take a look at the Cohasset Harbor redevelopment project with Planning Director Lauren Lind and the Chairman of the Cohasset Planning Board, Amy Glassmeyer. This is one of the biggest projects to be in front of Cohasset in more than a decade. We'll also take a look at how local businesses are adapting to the new realities as they reopen and bring customers back in. And we'll take a look at a little bit of Cohasset history. Welcome again. On to the show. Hi, I'm here today with Lauren Lind, the Town's Director of Planning, and Amy Glassmeyer, the new Chairman of the Town's Planning Board. Welcome to Cohasset Common.
Thank you very much.
So today we're going to be taking a look at what's probably the biggest project across the Planning Board's agenda in at least a decade, maybe longer, and this is the Cohasset Harbor proposed redevelopment. So today we're going to be talking with both Lauren and Amy about just a quick overview of the project, how the Planning Board is going to go through the review process and how people get engaged in that process and follow along. We're not going to talk about the pros and cons. That's not what this is for. That's what the Planning Board is for. I think we're going to start with Lauren, and you're going to give us just kind of an overview of what the project looks like.
Certainly. Thank you, Chris. And thank you for having us today. So the project address is 124 and 87 Elm Street. Those properties, as they are right now, you'll know the Cohasset Harbor Inn is 124 Elm Street, and then the bluish gray building across the street, actually, at 87 Elm Street, it's currently a mixed use and commercial space. Those properties for this proposal are, the proposal seeks to raise and reconstruct, and the proposal before us for the Planning Board is a special permit and site plan review for a mixed use residential structure that will, across the two properties, will be 3 structures. There are 29 residential condominium units proposed, along with a mix of commercial space, a public park that will provide waterfront access to the harbor, and a captain's walk that will have a setback from the seawall that will be open for public access. This project also does include underground subsurface parking garages for both the residential units as well as the commercial spaces. And the project has actually begun the process with the Planning Board. It is for the special permit for the Harbor Village Business Overlay District. The public hearing process was opened actually on July 17th, though it was immediately continued to July 8th. The Planning Board did not hear or have a deliberation. So though the process formally started on the 17th, it actually really kicked off its introduction on July 8th. We heard an introduction from the applicant. There's a team with an attorney. They have their landscape architect, a wide array of professionals that we will be hearing for over the process. And we also heard from our peer review, Weston and Sampson, that is an independent peer review from the town. So we have a very good team established here. And the opening night on July 8th, though it was an introduction, we will be diving into the different components of this project over the next several months. And we have created a schedule to break down into different topics, meeting by meeting, so that we have time to really have the board deliberate on the topics at hand.
Again, so the goal of this is to keep just a very clear process established, which the board has adopted. And just as importantly, because it's such a big project, the board will be looking at pieces of it, which will, I think, help with both public comment and also with the board's review. So it sounds like a very thoroughly thought out process here. So Amy, by the way, congratulations. Not only welcome to Cohasset Comment, but congratulations on becoming the new Planning Board Chair.
Thank you very much. I look forward to the position, and I feel confident that I have great support from the staff of Town Hall to make the work that we do possible.
So from the Planning Board's perspective, how is this going to roll out? How is the review process going to work for this project?
This is a large project, as Lauren indicated, and in order to provide an effective review, we have broken the meetings into segments so that we cover pieces of the project in a very deliberate way. Each time we meet, we expect that there will be presentations from professionals who are going to be describing the ways in which parts of the project will be developed. And at the same time, planning board members are regularly going to be contributing their own perspectives based on their professional experience. And that will be a part of the discussion that will be unfolding as we are learning more about how the development will occur. We are anticipating that the planning board members will do to the best of their ability, submit questions prior to sessions that we are in public hearings. And that is so the developer will have a chance to accumulate the information that might be requested in order for us to make a good decision.
Again, one thing I think it's going to be important to remind everybody too is that now that the hearing process is open, the conversations have to take place inside the hearing process. So, you and other members of the board might be in public and say, "Hey, Amy, what can you tell me about the project?" And your response will be, "Sorry, here's the project. You can go and look at information here, but we can't have an outside conversation." It's not because you don't want to talk about it, just because you can't.
And I think that everybody on the board is really very well aware of the open meeting law. And again, Lauren and Jen are kind of our bumpers in the sense that I route my communications through the office, and then literally it's vetting. I want to make sure that I'm abiding by the rules, and I also want to make sure that the record is being formulated in a manner that the public can always go back to it to understand where we are at any point in the process.
Yeah, and that's the real key, I think. So people should understand that it's not that any of you might want to not talk about it, except is that you can't. And that the most important thing is that the record be clean, so that if people have comments, and again, we're going to talk about that in just a second, that they get organized and then put in front of the board so that the public can hear what the public is asking about. So so let me just pivot to Lauren for a second. So I understand that there's been an email. So how would the public engage?
So the public can engage. All of the meetings are open to the public. We've been doing this virtually in today's day and age. So all of our meetings will have access link and meeting information so people can participate. You can access via a computer, your phone, or even call in. We do have a question and answer function through the meeting that is between staff. We go through the questions and make sure that whether the planning board is hearing and seeing those comments that are being shared. And in addition, we've been really encouraging people to view the information online. The application material can be found if you go to the Town of Cohasset website and scroll down to the bottom. There's a icon there that says Open Applications. If you click there, there's then a link to access Open Planning Board applications, and you can find all of the information on this application that's been submitted so people can view at their own leisure. And then we've really been encouraging people to submit their written comments to me via email. I can always be available. My email is lind, L-I-N-D, @cohassetma.org. And I encourage people to submit their comments and what you do and what you don't like about the project, what your thoughts and concerns are, because what we've been doing, and we've been seeing it working very effectively, is we've been receiving a lot of emails from members of the public with questions, concerns, and comments. And what I do is I compile those in a regular period of time. It's been every week. I take all of the comments that were received via email, I compile them into a document, and I circulate to not only the planning board for their review, but also to the applicants so that they can be prepared at the next public hearing session to be addressing the comments that are raised. So we've been receiving a fairly good volume of comments so far over the past couple of weeks. People have been really engaged in listening, and I think it's working so far. So I encourage people throughout this process to continue to listen, continue to see what documents we have. And if you have any questions, I'm here to be a resource to the town and as a whole. So if any residents have any questions or concerns, I can be a resource for you to talk you through those comments and direct you how you can participate in the process and find the information you're looking for.
So Amy, is there anything to add to that comment about public participation and engaging? Yes, Amy, anything else you want to add,
The one thing I would say is that Massachusetts is a very well-informed state when it comes to the management of its water resources. And like states around the country, the water resource is probably the scarcest amenity asset that communities have. Some cities and towns have mountains and they have streams, but the ocean is somehow very special. And if someone is interested in learning more about Massachusetts practices, there are several ways that they can do that. In the last decade, there have been 6 other towns and cities that have undertaken master plans and harbor development plans. And those kind of plans really give you an insight for the ins and outs of the process, the ways in which the deliberation takes place, the objectives of the community, which we take very seriously. And it really, if you want to know how it really goes, it's great to touch that kind of information. There's also a series of other documents that are produced by organizations around the state that lays out the legal basis for the use of the harbor lands. And so if somebody's interested in that, the Environmental Law Project produced a report in 2018 that really helps you see the very complex relationship between communities and their coastlines. And the developer is very mindful of all of those practices that they're bound by. So we'll be touching on those issues as we go along.
And actually, one of the key things you mentioned, Amy, is that this is all proceeding after a very long public process to get to a master plan, a harbor plan, and actually some zoning changes. So the town has really had a lot of deliberations about this, and these are obviously all things that the planning board is going to be considering as it goes forward.
Well, and the whole objective is to make the entire area lively and accessible and durable, because it is also a site of what will be environmental change over the next 50 years because of climate change and sea level rise. And so there's all of these other issues that are brought into the conversation. And so if the public weighs in and listens, they're going to hear those issues and see how much the town has put an effort into trying to be coordinated and coherent in the approach we're taking.
Okay. So it sounds like, this is a really big project and a really important project for the town. It's complicated. And it does sound like the planning board is really doing a lot of homework on this, and it sounds like the staff is doing a lot of homework on this. So, I think obviously there's lots of hearings to go too. I guess this could go on for some months, I guess, because you only meet every couple of weeks. And it's got to take time to digest. I think it's one of the most important things that people also have to understand about a project like this, is that because there's so much information to digest, it takes time to assess it and analyze it.
The good thing is we are not bound by, this is really a very unusual situation. Our developer has made it clear to us that their interest is to do the very best job. And if that takes time in order for that job to be completed in a satisfactory way, they're not going to hammer on us to make a quick decision. They want to get the best outcome for the project as a whole. And I think the reason is because they understand it is a fragile environment. It is also a very intimate space. And so designing it so that it's still available to people from an aesthetic and a use basis is something that they have committed to making it very clear and pursuing that as an objective in their own planning.
So Lauren, anything else that you want to add on here that we haven't touched on? I know that, by the way, we're not getting, as we said, into the pros and cons. This is really kind of an overview, and there's obviously a lot out there to learn about.
Certainly, yes, there is a lot out there to learn about. There's a lot of resources. You can read about different goals in our master plan and our harbor plan. You'll see a lot of common themes and threads about goals and visioning for the harbor area. Those are available on our website as well. And I'd just like to say that, this is, again, we encourage the public. I think in any good planning process, there's going to be compromises that need to be made. There's some hard decisions here, and it's not always an easy answer. And in order to make the best outcome, we need to know what the community is looking for and what their concerns are. And that way, the planning board can take that into consideration when they are deliberating and considering this project. So the next public hearing will take place at the planning board meeting on August 5th at approximately 6:30 p.m. And again, the access information to participate in that will be available on the planning board agenda for that meeting. So, and again, just to reiterate, you can submit written comment. We've gotten comments in the mail. You can send them to town hall. You can contact me via email, via phone. Our contact information is readily available on the town website, and we're happy and welcome, looking forward to hearing from you.
That's great. Anything you want to add about this, Amy?
It's important for our citizens to know that in addition to the harbor site itself, there is a very much larger objective, and that is to link the village to the harbor and use the Elm Street corridor as the basis of connectivity. And there's going to be an amazing number of opportunities for people to weigh in on helping us make a vision for that, and also helping us to understand how to enliven it, because we have a tremendous amount of historical resources and we could animate them so that it is something that really brings these two spaces together. But we don't think we have all the answers, and we really do think people that live in town have both the really great insights, but also they have aspirations. So the more that information comes to us as part of the master plan implementation process, as part of considering the Elm Street corridor, and then considering the connectivity between the village and the harbor, the better the total project will be, and the closer it will be to the vision people might have.
Yeah, that's great thing to point out, Amy. The town only ends up as good as people engage it and encourage it to be, right. So this is the Cohasset community, and to this point, there's been a lot of great engagement. There was no adopted master plan until this past year, or a harbor plan, or the municipal vulnerability study, and the conversations about open space and recreation. So really in a much better place because the community engaged. And again, this is now a project that meets on its face, right? Is the goal is that it is coming in under those standards, those new standards and direction the town has set. So, and now it's up to the community to engage and give comments and thoughts. And again, as Lauren pointed out, how to get that comment and thought, and download any information you have, and ask questions, and please engage, because this is critical to the future of Cohasset.
I'd like to say one other thing, which is we have an enormous amount of talent in our town. We have architects and planners. We have people in the medical field, in the education field, in the philosophy fields. And we really actually, in this next phase, when it comes to master plan implementation, the connection between town, the village and the harbor, the Elm Street corridor, we actually need people to step up and help us. And we're about ready to undertake economic development planning. And so if you have any interest in getting involved in a piece of this, contact any one of us, and we will be happy to turn you into a member of the team that tries to figure this out, because no one has, it's not like there's an answer. The answer will emerge from the process. And so we really need help to produce the best process and therefore have the highest quality outcome.
So piggybacking off that, I'll make one little commercial pitch. We are looking, the Board of Selectmen are looking to fill a lot of committee slots, and so is the TRICA, the moderator led committee that appoints to some other committees. So if people are interested in serving, please go to the town's website. There's an online committee form you can fill out. And as Amy said, if you just want to engage, please do that too. I mean, it's gonna, there's been great opportunities during the whole master plan process just to come out, take part, and share your thoughts without making a long-term commitment. And that will happen again, as Amy said, as we look towards Elm Street, because that really is a critical corridor that was identified in the master plan and the harbor plan, because it links the harbor with the village. And there's really some great opportunities. And I know everyone is looking forward to that community engagement and the potential to make it really something special, even more special than it is today. So thank you both. Thank you very much, Amy, for your time today. And again, congratulations on becoming the planning board chair. And
thank you for your leadership.
I thank you, and thank you, Lauren, for taking part today. And I look forward to having you back, both for future episodes, both on this and other things involving the master plan, because we will definitely in future episodes be talking about the master plan implementation committee and some of the next steps. Because one of the greatest things about this is not just doing the planning, but it's actually implementing it and working it out. So that's going to be a great opportunity. So again, thank you both. For more information on the Cohasset Harbor application, please go visit the town's website, www.cohassetma.org, and go to the planning page. And if you have comments and questions, you can direct them to Lauren and to the planning office. You can even drop things in the silver box. If you want to write them out, you can drop the silver box out in front of Town Hall, and Lauren and Jen will make sure that it gets in front of the planning board. So again, thank you both, and thank you all for watching today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Now let's take a look at how some local businesses are faring with special correspondent Jack Cunningham.
Hi, it's Larry Corthell from Hingham Savings in the Cohasset Chamber, and I'm filling in for Jack Cunningham, who's gone fishing. And we are at Daryl's with Daryl and Evans, and we did an interview a few months ago when the coronavirus first hit, and we're doing updates now on what's going on at stores and businesses in Cohasset. Hi, Daryl.
How are you, Larry?
So what
Good to
kind
see
of
you.
things have been put in place now for your safety and customer safety?
Well, in my store, first of all, everybody has to wear a mask when they come in the store. We have an entrance by French Memories that people come in. We ask them to sanitize with hand sanitizer that we've left out before they enter the store. We ask that only 4 people at a time be in the store. We've got a plexi shield like this to keep myself and my employees within 6 feet of the customers. We have sanitizer here at the register, and we have sanitizer on your way out. So that's what we're trying to do to make people safe.
So everything's to code. That's good.
Well, we're hoping.
Go ahead.
So how's business been since you've reopened?
Honestly, it's been pretty good. People are just happy to be out. They're happy to be able to shop. People are, I think, shopping more locally and supporting their small businesses in town. So that's good. It's not the same as a usual summer because we don't have like the music circus, we don't have all the weddings, and we don't have all the tourism and everything coming in. But the pickup of that is, I think, a lot more people are shopping locally. So it's been good. It's not the same. It's just different
Right.
and going along. And I'm just happy that people feel comfortable coming in. We still offer curbside service if people don't feel comfortable coming in. So we'll adapt to whatever our customers need to do.
Well, thank you for giving us the time and an update on what's going on at Daryl's, and we will come back and check in on you over the next few weeks.
Oh, well, you are welcome. And I just want to say thank you to the community and all of our customers who have supported me during this whole COVID crisis, but also our village, all the businesses in the village. We really needed your support, and we really appreciate everything that you've done for us, and we hope to keep going and keep the village vital.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Cohasset Common, and thanks to all who made this show possible, including the great work of Don Roy and special correspondent Jack Cunningham. Again, thanks for joining us. Have a great week.